everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Esquire's Man at His Best podcast. This is our weekly look at some of the biggest things that have happened this week in the world of men's lifestyle, including updates from our very own website and our magazine. So I'm Tom, and I'm the digital director for Esquire Middle East. And as per usual, I'm joined by a very special guest. I think I'm just going to kill the whole long-winded intro thing that we usually do.
No, I like that.
It's really long. This is Man.
Hey, man.
He's editor.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. I liked that because I always used to, listen to what you were trying to say and try to guess where you're going because I had no advanced knowledge.
Well, maybe we'll bring it back. I'm not going to lie.
One time I thought you were trying to introduce me as Richie Rich.
Last week.
Turned out it was like the Green Arrow or something.
Last week we were in space, as everyone knows, and we were beaming live from space. That really took it out of me.
I got my Earth legs back.
Yeah, so obviously these podcasts, we now live stream them out to places like YouTube.
Yep. Hello, YouTube.
Facebook.
Bonjour.
As well as Periscope.
Oh, no, bonjour, Periscope.
Bonjour, Periscope.
To all our French listeners on Periscope.
So obviously we invite you, the audience, to participate because I've got this laptop here that is plugged into all the different feeds so I can comment back. So if you want to ask us questions, we can answer them. We can attempt to answer them. We probably won't be able to answer them, but we'll definitely acknowledge that you asked them.
But can we do it from the bottom of the ocean?
I think maybe when Jason Momoa's Aquaman comes out, we could do like a themed,
all right, like a celebratory bottom of the ocean podcast from there, or some other publication might try to take that idea from us. Even though I'm stating now, for the record, that's our idea.
So let's get this party started. Okay. I've got some news.
What's your news, Tom?
I think we're going to kick it off because
because
we did a segment last week which proved quite popular with the viewers and the listeners, and it was called the Elon Musk Evilometer.
Yeah, you got that wrong. It was wasn't it the Elon Muskometer?
Yeah, but the thing is, this one was trademarked. I think Elon probably already trademarked that.
So the TM doesn't stand for Tom and Matt?
No. It stands for trademark. Anyway, so obviously after last week, we put him in the little bit evil category.
Well, yeah, last week he was nuking planets.
Yeah, so he's in the little bit evil category. Now, I'm not saying that he listens to this podcast. However, in a recent New York Times interview, Musk actually broke down and teared up a little.
Like broke down the walls?
No, broke down, teared up a little bit, saying that he has had an excruciating year.
Okay, fair.
He said that he said, I quote, "It's not been great actually. I've had friends come by who are really concerned about me."
You see, that's bad for anyone to hear.
I mean,
no one wishes anything bad upon the man.
Look, concerns about his health were raised in April when Musk admitted to sleeping on the floor of the Tesla factory and not showering.
Doesn't he famously sleep in his office anyway?
Well, yeah, but I think maybe that's kind of a problem. I don't think he does that because he likes it or his office has got great air conditioning. I think it's more that he's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, fair.
And plus, people keep on dragging him. People like us keep on calling him evil. Maybe he's got to the end of his tether.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's no doubt that the guy, he's a very influential, very positive force. But then, just something, maybe people can be overworked and burn out. I don't know him personally, so
He said he almost missed his brother's wedding this summer, and he spent his entire birthday in Tesla's offices. This is sad.
He just needs a hug.
Should we move him? one place up?
All right, Elon. Because, look, if it's a mental health thing as well, I'm happy to bring him back to not... Let's nudge him one way on the not so evil.
We'll bring up the meter, and we're going to move him a little bit more towards the good side.
Yeah. Not evil, misunderstood, stressed.
Yeah, but you start nuking Mars again, Elon Musk. You're going to kind yourself back.
Flamethrowers, nuking Mars.
Well, no, because here's actually a general good bit. So Tesla are now making surfboards.
Electronic surf?
No, they're just carbon fiber regular surfboards. So I mean that's a cool thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a tangent for an automotive company, but I suppose you can buy Porsche backpacks and things, and wallets.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that you wouldn't you're not going to get kind of like a major arms company, as in the bad companies of the world, they're not producing surfboards. Surfboards are fun.
Yeah, fair. But you know what? I was talking to someone earlier this week, and we were talking about Elon Musk because, he comes up a lot.
Was it me?
It might have been. You might have been there. And this other guy we were talking to, he was saying that he reckons that there's some kind of like bad Elon Musk press comes from like the automotive lobbying industry. So it's like a lot of people dirtying the water because Tesla's, success, and they've had kind of
slandering him.
Yeah, maybe subtle slandering in the press, releasing some bad information. I mean, look, this is all conjecture, and but that's the theory that this random guy I was talking to had. Maybe that's got something to do with it. Maybe it's just a smear campaign, Tom.
It could be. I mean, unless they took over his own Twitter in the middle of the night. Elon Musk is his own worst enemy quite often. So, and I don't think he's said...
So you're saying he's the enemy?
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh.
I'm saying that right now he's more good than he was at the beginning of the show.
Okay, fair. All right, let's move him up on the meter and then move on to more news.
All right, what news have you got?
I have, Tom, leading from the top of my news deck today, an interesting new decision by Netflix.
Netflix.
You've heard of them?
Well, I think we're currently in talks with Netflix to acquire this very show. They were impressed that we went to space. Mm-hmm. They said they hadn't seen such visual effects. I had to remind them it wasn't visual effects. We were actually in space.
Yeah. Real camera work.
And so, I mean, their offices are just around the corner. And so we went to go see them, and yeah.
They like what we do. If regular listeners and viewers of the show will know that we quite often spout out... or we pitch ideas for Netflix shows. So hoping they kind of want to pick them up, but or other magazine brands also liked our ideas a lot.
As of my last tally, we have come up with 419 pitches for Netflix.
Oh,
413 of them involving Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
and another 7 concerning samosas, and the last one concerns both.
Yeah, and us. And us, let's be honest. But no, new news from Netflix. So this week, in the US primarily, but also potentially in other territories, Netflix were actually testing out airing advertisements to their subscribers.
Advertisements?
So essentially, not like, for Tesla or for Mingyu Milk or for Mr. Yang's vegetarian chicken. But for their other shows. So in that bit where if you finish watching one episode, if you're in the middle of a binge, you watch one episode, and before it rolls on to the other one, they would play the trailers or potential trailers.
Haven't they been doing that before?
No.
Really?
No.
I'm pretty sure when my Netflix ends, it pops up to the top corner, and then a thing pops up, and it's like...
Yeah, no, and that shows you, would you like to watch the next episode? This one, they've been airing trailers of saying, well, whatever show there is that you might be watching on there. So, I generally cannot think of any Netflix shows. I've gone completely blank.
7 of them involve Ali Wong.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of stand-up comedy.
No, it's not as bad as when it originally launched, where it's just stand-up comedy and B-movies.
Well,
it's kind of great.
Now it's...
Anyway, they have been testing this out. Obviously, it's just a trial run. They're... in kind of true to form, the internet has reacted?
I'm going to say that the internet, because it's very understanding, and it knows that these big companies, there's commercial realities there. I think the internet probably went, you know what, we applaud your innovation, Netflix, and you know what, we're fine giving up 15 seconds of our time to watch a little trailer.
Yeah, no, I think basically the internet just went, hey, you know what, I'm going to sit and think about my opinion for at least a good 3 to 5 seconds before turning to voice it openly and criticizing a company that I enjoy the services of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure now Netflix, death threats, people threatening to quit.
Man.
Threatening to quit the internet.
Yeah. Reddit was particularly fun on that one. But look, it's so much so that, I think Netflix released a statement saying we're testing whether surfacing recommendations between episodes helps members discover stories they will enjoy faster. Therefore, kind of saying, if you liked this show, you might like this show. A lot of people saying that if they're paying the subscription fee or the membership, then they don't want to be serviced with adverts because they're paying that's the the business model. Personally, I'm fine with it. If you can recommend and show me other shows that I might have interest in during that little window where, like, I'm not watching something, fine. When it comes into products and actual kind of commercial advertising that way, third-party commercial advertising, that's when I, think the conversation should be had. But if it's just kind of alerting me that new shows are, my personal take is that it's fine. But if you have been seeing these pop-ups or what it is, you can actually opt out. And I think that if you just basically go through on your settings feature on netflix.com/do not test, you can check a box and you will be omitted from the service.
Also, I'd be remiss to add that if you like this podcast, perhaps you'd be interested in one of our other podcasts.
If you like this podcast, perhaps you would like to hit the subscribe button and give us a call, Netflix. We're still waiting.
See?
We're waiting to hear back.
We can test this stuff too. Maybe we'll test it right at the end. At the end of this one, maybe we'll just disappear, and then...
Hey, we should do that. We should do the little, like, whoop box, and then it'd be like, yeah, all right. Stay tuned to the end of this to see that.
Netflix.
Right, well, that's what the story I got from Netflix, man.
I have got a good bit of news.
Good.
Oh.
What's on your Rolodex today?
I hope that I kind of hope you almost skipped your news breakfast, so you're good and hungry for this bit of news.
I did skip breakfast.
So, are you familiar with a website called Wikipedia?
I've heard of it. It's like an encyclopedia, but for the internet.
Yes, and the beauty of it is that, obviously kind of the public or these members of the public get to edit it.
It's open source.
It's open source, yes. And do you know, because we're members of the industry,
the media fraternity.
Yes, do you understand that there's a bit of a stigma around Wikipedia? Yes.
Yeah.
Because again, what you're reading isn't necessarily fact. It could be.
Yeah, unless it's verified, but then there's a lot of fabricated stuff. Because it's a free service, there's not necessarily the funding available there to hire a full-time staff to fact-check everything written on it.
All right.
It's a working problem.
Good. So now we're kind of set up for this. So.
Lay it on me.
7 years ago, to celebrate kind of the men and women who helped build St. Petersberg in northern Russia, statues were erected.
Okay.
Now, one of the statues was of a man called Thomas de Tomon, who was an architect and a designer who designed several of St. Petersburg's most famous buildings. So he's up there on the statue, and then there's 6 other architects around him.
Okay.
It has just come to light that perhaps the man whose statue they made wasn't him.
Was it Elon Musk?
It wasn't Elon Musk.
Jason Momoa?
It was essentially the designer, a guy called Alexander Taritnov, which is a good Russian name, has said that he used Wikipedia to find the likeness, and in doing so, perhaps instead clicked on one Thomas Thompson, who's a Scottish scientist with a strikingly similar name.
You made the statue of the wrong guy?
They made a statue of the wrong guy, and it has stood there for 7 years before anyone has actually noticed.
Was the guy that it was meant to be a face of? Did he just not?
I think because St. Petersburg's very old.
So he's dearly departed.
Yes. According to this is the designer, he said, information for the work was of course taken from internet resources.
Brilliant.
However, as our diligent people who are interested in history have rightly noticed, there has obviously been some mistake.
So his response is essentially, for millennial speak, as in gone, that little emoji just gone, my bad.
My bad. My bad.
My bad.
So yeah, it's kind of a good, a running, again, a lesson, a life lesson. Oh, there it is. Oh, look, we'll put the image up here, as if by magic.
Ooh.
So again, kind of this is a lesson. You can't rely on Wikipedia for everything. You shouldn't believe everything you read Wikipedia.
You know, the rule in journalism is 3 sources. Check your facts by 3 sources. if they all kind of corroborate each other, then it's easy for you.
I wonder if they're gonna change it. I mean, one would imagine it's quite hard because these are like metal statues. They're not like
man.
wood.
It's like, I wonder if it gives the statue a bit more like interest. Do you remember the painting of in that church? Oh no, it was a church in Spain.
Church, yeah.
Where there was like an old nun who there was like a painting of I don't know, an old al fresco painting, an old fresco painting, and it was crumbling, so she decided to try correct it herself DIY and just made an absolute mockery of it.
I mean, yeah, but like again, look, this guy's name was Jean-Francois Thomas de Thomon. Now my name is Thomas. But if someone wanted to make a statue of this Thomas and my face was there instead, I'd be pretty happy. But one would imagine the person who was supposed to be made into a statue and his family and his lineage would probably go, well, no, I kind of want...
My granddad.
My granddad was the one that built the neoclassical St. Petersberg buildings.
So do you think Cristiano Ronaldo's children will be proud of the statue that they had of him?
We'll put that up. They're actually redoing that statue.
That they've done it.
Have they redone it?
Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah. I mean, it still doesn't really look much like him, but, he's doing that stance that he does. You see the picture here.
Oh.
That stance there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Good statue news.
Statue news.
I like it. Good story.
Yeah.
Good story. There's a lesson in there. Check your facts, kids.
Yeah, and don't check them using Wikipedia.
Well do, but then also check
Although
them
in this, it
via
may
other
not have
things.
been Wikipedia's fault. It could have just been that the actual guy who's making the sculpture didn't type in the right name.
Yeah, just be a bit more diligent if you're publishing facts. I know this is very kind of high and mighty coming from us because, I'm a own up to it. I have also been editor of a magazine that has published some incorrect facts at times. But we kind of stand up and own it and make sure it never happens.
I said Steven Spielberg directed Back to the Future last week. That's untrue.
He didn't.
He produced it, though. Because at the beginning, because I watched them all this weekend, because I wanted to check my facts. And at the beginning it says, a Steven Spielberg film. I deeply apologize. I assumed that meant he directed it. That didn't. It meant he bankrolled it and was responsible for everything that was great about it.
Well, yeah, him and Robert Zemeckis, So, Anyway.
I read it on Wikipedia. My fault. Not my fault.
Checked.
All of my statues at home now need to be changed because I've been relying on Wikipedia.
Your Emmys, yeah?
My Emmys.
Your Emmy Award statue for production in a space-based theory.
Space? I think
Space-based series.
Time-based series. Yeah. Back to the Future?
No. I was going with the space thing from last week when we were in space. They got it.
Oh, one day, one podcast we could go Back to the Future.
And revisit space?
Or I was thinking like...
The future?
Like the 1800s Wild West America.
Strong. If we do like a second season of this podcast, can we go to Europe?
We can go to Europe.
Cool. I'm in.
All right, so that's my Wikipedia-based news.
Cool. I have one bit of news for you, Tom, and I think it's time we ran a sting for it.
Well, what is it?
This is fashion news.
Fashion news.
Fashion news, Tom.
Good sting.
I like it.
Good sting.
Right, so the fashion news is not a lot happening in the fashion world currently, just because we're all kind of building up in the next few weeks. There'll be all the shows and the fashion week and the new season kicks off. However, Hugo Boss's subsidiary brand, Hugo, have announced Anwar Hadid as the new face of the brand. Now, you may know him, Tom. He is the younger brother of Gigi and Bella Hadid.
The Hadids, but not related to Anwar Sadat.
No, not Anwar.
Famed Egyptian president from like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay. This is what Anwar Hadid looks like, and that is what Anwar Sadat looks like. One of these two gentlemen is the new face of Hugo.
So explain to me. So I know Hugo Boss. That's how I've known it. Hugo Boss. Good suits, good tailoring. They make a nice scent. What is Hugo?
So there's been a bit of a structure shift in Hugo in terms of what they roll out as a brand. There was multiple different lines, and now they've consolidated that into 2 lines: Hugo Boss and Hugo.
Okay.
So with that, Hugo is this kind of more kind of edgier, cooler, streetwear-inspired kind of brand.
If I use the word millennial, would that be out of place?
Well, I mean, I would use the words Anwar Hadid.
Well, yeah, because he looks very millennial.
Can you check his age? I believe he's something. I think he's like 19 or 20.
I think he's 19.
Look, I was actually in Berlin for the very first launch of this season's Hugo collection.
He's 19.
That was a couple of maybe coming up a month ago now. And what you got there was these kind of really big silhouettes, baggy clothing, chunky sneakers. That very kind of on-trend, adaptable fashion brand. And that's kind of what Hugo want to do with that brand. Where there's Boss is that
Hugo Boss.
Yeah, is that more kind of refined tailoring that they're famed for?
We live streamed the show. I'm gonna call it was like posh streetwear.
Yeah, well, what they went for was kind of like this kind of grit. We were in a warehouse somewhere in Berlin. It was this kind of gritty, kind of dark spotlights, big busy runway, male and females mixed. They had Wiz Khalifa playing there. That was the kind of the entertainment. Anwar Hadid was not there, weirdly enough, but he's the new face of the new campaign. And to make it relevant and to our region, this month, the month of August, Hugo will be opening their first ever regional store in Dubai.
This is Hugo, not Hugo Boss.
Correct.
So is that so there are definitely Hugo Boss stores already here.
Yes.
Does that mean that the Hugo Boss stores will remain?
Yes.
Become just Hugo Boss?
Yes.
And then Hugo will move over here and do its own thing?
Not in all markets, but certainly here in Dubai with the first one. Hugo will have a standalone store as its own. So that way. So so it basically caters to 2 different demographics and still that same kind of industry-leading reputation that Hugo Boss have.
I got a fun Hadid fact.
Oh, I like fun Hadid facts.
Well, we know Gigi.
I've heard of her.
And Bella.
Yep.
And then obviously we're talking about Anwar.
Yes.
But did you know that their mother, Yolanda Hadid, was originally a model?
Yes, this is very common knowledge.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, she's also in like one of those housewives of Orange County or something. And Mohammed Hadid, their dad, is a big property tycoon. So that was your fun fact. It's just like common knowledge.
I don't think it's that common knowledge.
Well, okay, now it is. Let's go that way. But yes, she was also a model. And the 3 kids, look.
But then the mum signed the kids up to IMG models.
Right, yeah. So,
I mean, kind of.
But then, and Bella and Gigi have gone on to have ludicrously successful careers.
Yeah.
And this is the one. 19-year-old Anwar kind of could step it up. But I mean, it's not his first campaign. He's recently done some stuff previously done some stuff with Dolce & Gabbana and Ralph Lauren.
He's also previously done stuff with Hugo Boss.
Yeah. So, he's...
He did last year's stuff.
Get used to that face. Mind you, last year we ran a couple of articles about him saying get used to that face last year. So... Called it, I believe, as the expression we can use.
Well, I guess the market's still not gotten used to his face. So continue getting used to this face. No, that's That's Anwar Sadat. This face.
Yeah. Or, Anwar Sadat also, But Anwar Hadid, he's the Hugo guy. Cool. And that, Tom, is fashion news.
Good sting. All right, I've got a last news nugget.
Give me
nugget of news.
Lay it on me.
All right. So, Matt, would you like to hike?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you're not going to hike right now. Hiking. It's a little bit hot, right?
What constitutes a hike compared to a walk?
I think a hike. I'm going to go with a hike is like longer than an hour.
All right.
I think a hike would naturally take you into some sort of nature. And it doesn't have to be mountainous, doesn't have to be kind of... I think you can hike along a beach. I think that's fine.
Right.
But I do think it needs to be kind of longer than an hour. I think a walk is something you do to get from A to B, whereas a hike is like we are going on a long walk.
What about like a country walk?
Yeah, that counts as a hike.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I like a hike. Yeah, sure.
All right, so imagine this. You're in Ireland.
Yep.
It's the summer.
Yep.
I mean, it's probably a nice day.
Yep.
And you're hiking along, and all of a sudden, a sheep falls on your head, and you get injured. Now, you will have to imagine this. However, this happened not one day ago. There was a group of teenagers hiking near the Hare's Gap, which is somewhere in Ireland, and they were walking along, and then a sheep fell on some guy's head.
From like the top of a cliff?
Yeah, like the sheep fell off and just fell on his head.
Did he die? Is he all right?
No, he's fine.
Is the sheep all right?
I don't... Well, we believe the sheep was uninjured and left the area unaided.
Solid reporting.
It's not what you'd expect, though.
No, a falling sheep is not one of the main injuries sustained or main threats to hikers, I believe.
You think hiking is probably one of the safest kind of extracurricular activities one can do in nature?
Really?
It's pretty safe.
You fall off a cliff. Get sheep hit you in the head.
Sheep fell off a cliff. Hit him in the head.
I don't mean to laugh, but I mean, yeah, fair enough. Good news. This is the kind of news that like appears on like page 3 of like broadsheet newspapers. Not broadsheet, but other newspapers when you're just like, I shouldn't really be reading this, but it's pretty funny. And then you go and tell your friends that there was a story.
Well, that's why it's a news nugget. I mean, there's not much more to be had. There's no point deeping into. There's no point. I mean, maybe the sheep was suicidal. We thought about that. Like maybe this is a thing. It's very hot in Ireland. Maybe it's been a heat wave. Maybe.
I reckon Elon Musk pushed the sheep. Think about it.
This is why he's so sad, because people are accusing him of like trying to kill sheep. But he didn't do a good job. Well, this hero teenager saved
the mob were trying to...
The mob? A mob of sheep?
Flock of sheep, I believe.
A flock of sheep with like pitchforks and like torches were chasing this other poor sheep?
Maybe they were like banishing him from the flock. Who knows? Yeah.
Maybe he was actually a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Legit.
And they forced him off the cliff. There's actually I take it back, there's a lot to this story that could have been delved into.
I reckon the story goes all the way to the top.
I'm going to look at Wikipedia to figure out the facts.
I reckon the story goes all the way to the top. It involves politicians, high-ranking celebrities.
And
at the bottom of this.
The Illuminati?
And probably Jason Momoa somewhere. You thought we would go a week without him.
Jason Momoa is a good guy in all this.
He is a good guy. He's the best of them.
He would have caught the sheep in 2 hands.
Nursed it back to health.
Well, he wouldn't have needed that. He would have just gone, put him down, gave him a pat, and then sent him on his way.
Fair. All right. On that lovingly caressing note.
That's me done.
Yep, I'm done, man. That is this week's podcast, guys.
So we do hope you enjoyed the Esquire Man and His Best podcast. Remember, we have new episodes coming out weekly on Apple iTunes, SoundCloud, Pocket Casts, and more, such as YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope, live. We also host every show on our website, which is esquireme.com. And yeah, we tend to go on about it on social media, which will make appear, as if by magic, here.
Ooh.
And yeah, otherwise, we will see you next week.
It has been good being back from space. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit us up and yeah, see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Au revoir, Periscope.